Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston Station, we are ready for the event.
Hello, I am just going to go to my comment section and see everybody there. Hi, Stephen. Nice to see you on. If you are watching me through Facebook, I may not actually see your name come up. On YouTube, I will, but on Facebook, often it comes up as Facebook user. So please, if I don't mention you by name, that's the reason why. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Yasna. Hi, Gerda. Hi, Praneeth. Thank you for joining. Hi, Maran Software. Hi, Christine. Somebody is telling my youngest son off in the comments. You're in sunny Manchester. Lovely. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining me. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Steffi. Hi, Malkiel. So, psychic development. I thought I would throw this one into the mix and find out what your beliefs were in that area. Hi, Deborah. It's lovely that you joined me. Hi, Maria. And yeah, find out who you are and what you're doing in your psychic development and whether you actually consider it an important thing on your cartomantic journey or on any form of divination journey. Thank you, Fortnite. God. I'm getting comments on how my children are acting on Fortnite. Thank you. Hi, Tori. Hi, Laura. Hi, Cheryl. So today, yes, it's a little bit about you. I would like to get to the bottom of. I would also like to answer any questions that you have on me and my spiritual beliefs too. If you know me through the World Divination Association, you will know me as a system reader. And a lot of people think that a system reader goes hand in hand without the psychic development or without any spiritual development. So I really wanted to put some few records straight, maybe, but also ask you questions and also answer anything that you may want to know about me, where I came from, how I'm here, and what I believe when it comes to card reading. Hi, Stacey. So when we think of psychic, what do we think of? Is it a dirty word in the cartomancy world? Is it a dirty word when it comes to system readers? How would you go about describing what psychic is? I had a look at definitions online just out of interest to see what the world out there says. And I was actually surprised that it was quite vague when I did look, and that we're talking about inexplicable by natural law and not really going into much else other than it is inexplicable. Hi, Carmen. So my comments are jumping crazily. If you put in there, I would love to hear what you think psychic development is. If you think it's something that you do personally, if it's something in your belief system and what it actually means to you. If you put that in the comments below, we can go through then and discuss where I lay on the psychic development scale, if you want to call it that. So, yeah, what are your beliefs? Are there any particular, hi everybody, are there any particular belief systems that you have regarding that Is it something that you use on your cartomantic journey? Connection with spirit and sensitivity, that's a good way of putting it. Absolutely. But that actually for me does encompass a lot of what the development journey is. It's also a lot more things to me and maybe to some other people. We seem to these days talk of systems versus intuition, or a system versus an intuitive reader. And from the intuitive reader standpoint, there is a little bit of, they're a bit snobbish if they're a system reader and they don't use their intuition, which is another form of snobbery from both sides. I think both sides of the park has a certain amount of snobbery to it. So where does a spiritual journey fit in with your cartomancy if you are a system reader? And I can see we've got lots of system readers on. So how do you think that it actually fits in with your card reading? Do you speak to spirit when you are laying the cards? Do you consider yourself a medium? Do you consider yourself to be psychic? Michelle says, yes, I believe in psychic development. Systems and intuitive do not have to be mutually exclusive. Absolutely 100% agree with that. Connecting with my guides and loved ones. Psychic development is developing the mind, spirit, and intuition. That's a really good way of putting it. Some of the descriptions online said the spirit and the mind. So when it comes to the word psychic, that it relates to the spirit and to the mind. Medicine woman. That's an interesting one. So the way we develop on our journey, and I think recently the word psychic has got a lot of bad press in that, and the word fortune telling, for example, or predictions has had an awful amount of bad press recently. Tori says, I feel like psychic development is the practice of opening a channel to access additional layers of information and not always available otherwise. If you look up faith and psychic, they are very similar. It's very true. I think psychic development helps with divination and divination helps with psychic development. So very true. I have an impression first, but check with the cards to make sure that I'm in my intuition and not my imagination. That's a good point too, Deborah, how much we actually make up and how much we source the information. So for those of you who don't know me, I have been forever developing. I'm not somebody who ever stopped that development. I can't remember a point in my life where something wasn't developing. And I think that's a lot about the spiritual journey, that we will have swings and roundabouts. We will have times where we're going in circles. We have times when we're on a roller coaster where huge amounts of spiritualness is happening to us. But there's always something happening, even in those times when maybe we feel like we are on a roundabout. And I've gone through everything from being a member of a spiritual church and learning hands-on healing through to pendulum and dowsing and symbol healing as well, and every form of development that you can think of on a spiritual level. I gravitate towards, and I really have never stopped that. And the interesting thing on why I use systems is so I control my mediumship. I was very much channeling all the time, and especially with tarot and oracles, and it really was just the constant channeling. And I came to a point in my life when I realized that a tool was needed in order to hone that down. So I didn't channel all the time. I could give the messages without channeling. And that's another form of development. The Kipper cards, the Lenormand cards, and the other systems, Gypsy, for example, playing cards too, they are a great tool that you can use to control mediumship or control channeling, control the information. So when it comes to psychic development, I have been teaching psychic development. I have been teaching psychic development probably for around 20 years. And I started in the last couple of years doing it online. And through that, I think it comes with age as well. I actually grew in my skin, and I grew on my spiritual journey to go even deeper than that. And I would love to hear any specific routes that you have taken. I will probably say I've taken it too, because it has been an ongoing development. But I've come to a place in my spiritual life, in my cartomancy life, in everything to do with being a person on the earth realms, is that I don't stop learning, and I hope you guys are the same. I listen to physics podcasts, for example, to learn about quantum physics and how there could possibly be an explanation behind everything that I experience. Using systems, excuse me, I'm going to have to drink out of my ugly water bottle. I'm sorry, and my throat's sore. Using system helps me stay grounded and temper my personal bias and imagination. That's a great way to explain the system reading. So I've come to a place where I practice Ho'oponopono. You probably know that. And I believe strongly in the three selves. I believe that the three selves can give us information on to explain, for example, the quantum side of it, the physics side of it, the practical side of me that can put some explanation behind things. And the three selves is that we have three selves. We have our conscious mind, who is here talking to you all the time. We have our subconscious self, who saves our triggered patterns, etc., our triggers, our patterns, our emotional response to things. And then we have our superconscious self, and our superconscious self is where we get our information from. And as a reader, it is super important to be able to access that information without having a personal bias of the subconscious coming in with a trigger, and the trigger saying and giving us false information. So I'm going to have a look through the comments now. Let me know what your thoughts are on how you receive messages, and whether there is a way to remove the personal aspect of it. So I'm just having a read through. So Gail starts out reading. Once she's relaxed, she slips into intuition. If I give guidance to someone and spirit comes and talks and give me messages, I don't use any tools. That's mediumship. Absolutely. We learn always. Yes, we do. I'm actually interested on this, what your belief system is behind that. So what you believe the mechanisms are in the between spirit realm and us. So I'd really love to hear your thoughts on that. Absolutely. on, on the car sound system. Thank you, Yasmin. Look, hubby's in. He revives them through you, through me. Thank you, love. I'm going to have him on next time to be the voice of reason. Hi, Helen. Energy and frequency, absolutely. And I am that's why I am so into the physics behind everything, learning about energy, learning about frequency and how it all works together, how dowsing, for example, or how pendulum healing can change the frequency or the vibration or something. Hi, Garth. Thank you for joining. So absolutely. Desire to exchange energies with purposeful intent. Very good. So I am as you can guess from listening to everything quantum physics has to hold. There's some great podcasts out there if you are interested in breaking your brain in any way. I am very practical in that, and I do want to try and learn the primacy of consciousness, perhaps. That's a very eloquent way of putting it. So the superconscious, the three selves that I was talking about, the superconscious is probably my version of, he's got a PhD, that's my husband. So I've got my kids' mates on and I've got my husband. Husband has a PhD in physics, so the superconscious that I am talking about is what the level at which we speak to spirit, or the level at which we are spirit. So our spirit can hear other spirit. It is what some people call the consciousness. I also call it void. It's a place where we are part of that net that we all are, the spirit realms, which also goes back to the quantum physics side, the quantum realms, and the realms being coexisting, if you like, just in a different frequency or a different vibrational form. Michelle says, I believe we are directly connected to the spirit realm. We are all energy. That's exactly what I'm trying to explain with the super consciousness. Guides are like bumper pads directing me to my higher self and therefore source. So the higher self is the same for me as the super conscious. And Praneeth's answering my husband now. It's all going well. Elbow cough. So we as spirit then are connected at that level, and it is the humanness of us that then I'm laughing at the comments now, sorry. Now, serious questions. Do you think dreams can be aware? I will answer afterwards, love. 1 second, please. So the superconscious is our higher self or our connection at spirit level. Now, the subconscious kind of dirties that. The subconscious is everything that we've experienced on a normal, everyday living experience. It's also patterns that we save from things that have happened. So, for example, If we have a bad experience with one thing, it will affect our judgments going forward. And that's the subconsciousness. Now, the issue that we have is that those superconscious messages can only come direct through the subconscious. They can't come direct to our conscious self. They have to pass through the subconscious self first. And this is where we kind of sometimes go wrong, because we are acting on our subconscious, what people call a part of their intuition, their gut feeling. We react on that because the information's come through from superconscious, but we have to make sure none of our human existence triggers are in that subconscious. Otherwise, the message gets dirty. The message doesn't come through as clear as it should do. And what we really want is a completely clear subconscious, so that we can connect from conscious through to superconscious without any information coming in. Now, it helps if you don't store things, but obviously everybody in some part of their life has stored something. So it's absolutely normal that a reader will add a little bit of their own experience. And that's hi, Tina. And that's coming through from that subconscious trigger. Oh my God. And then it happens. And so what we want to do on our psychic development is actually access that super conscious information. It's the place where that spark of inspiration comes in. It's the place that told me that I had to write that book. It's the place that told my husband that he needed to open All Star Space, the YouTube channel. It is that inspiration when you think you're driving and suddenly you think, oh, I have to do that. And that's a superconscious coming through without having been triggered by anything at the subconscious level. Helen says, as I understand it, everyone is psychic to some degree or other, and this can be improved with practice. All mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are medium. That's a good way of putting it. And I think the word psychic has meanings differently from one person to the next. So that when you say that not all psychics are mediums, I think that depends on what your personal interpretation of what psychic actually means. I don't listen to metal now. Thank you. So going back to what my lovely husband said about dreams and whether it is a way to connect. The dreams depends whether you go into your dreams in a superconscious state or in your subconscious state. If you're going in your subconscious state, then you will work through issues of a human nature. If you are clear at a subconscious level and can connect to that superconscious, then when you go to bed, you will be astraling, you'll be astral travel and working on that. All Star Space, yes, we have a stop it, we have a tech channel. He's taking over my comments. After the Card Geek, of course, yes. Thank you, love. So when it comes to dreams and connecting, absolutely yes, as long as you are connecting through or sleeping during your super conscious connection. If it's subconscious, then you will work through all the stuff that we have to deal with on a daily basis. I love how you all chat amongst yourself. We all go back to source. That's a beautiful way of putting it, Gail. Absolutely. Just having a look through things. Resonance seems to be a key mechanism of information transfer. As we are all energy, then absolutely we are working on a vibrational level. And that's what it goes back to with the quantum realms as well, and the realms living, the realms working together. It's all very weird, isn't it? But you do need to break your brain on that. It is absolutely worth it. It's a quick thinker. Thank you. So what I wanted to ask you all is, what kind of things do you do to keep your journey going, to open yourself up to a spiritual journey? What do you do to become or be a better medium, if that's the yes, Mr. Poole is in the comments, Maria. He's causing havoc. You have to keep him in control. I think reading people's energies has a lot to do with psychic development. Absolutely. Reading every kind of energy has to do with psychic development. Meditate, meditate, meditate. Best answer. Actually, on my course, the first week is trying to bust all that knowledge or all that pre-knowledge that people think meditation is difficult, and really start growing the place that will be yours in meditation then to springboard off. Absolutely, Tori. Meditate and grounding myself, trying to empty my mind. Nothing at all. I really actually like that answer. Empty mind is good, Christine. The reason I like that answer, Sybil's Tarot Maria, she ignores the spiritual cues and wanders through life. That's her system, and it works for you. Garth's never been good at meditating. I lose patience. I think it's because I tend to keep myself in the intellect too, but I think people have the wrong, or meditation's been sold in the wrong way, and so much like tarot has been sold in the wrong way over the years. Meditation has also been given a really bad rep that I kind of, in the first week of Psychic Dev, Garth, I try and bust all of that out of everybody so that there isn't this idea. I had the best astral journey once. I went to see the junction 24 of the M62. Well, you're not far away from there, are you? That's not the place where that big accident was. Sorry. I'm so grateful because I need to learn this past aches and pains, breathing, and Gemini head. I know that. Monkey mind. I have, honestly, I'm terrible monkey bite. My husband doesn't meditate or do yoga at the same time. I'm going to have him on here so that you can actually meet what the true yen is. So I personally meditate. I meditate before I go to bed every night as I'm falling asleep. So I set my intention to meditate, and I set my intention then to, during meditation, fall asleep and be at super conscious level. So I'd go astral to the pub. Quality. Meditation, mantra chanting, that's really good. The mantra chanting, I do that. I have 3 different mantras that I use and that I constantly have going through my head. That's why meditation is called a practice. It's very true. It's we don't always manage it. That's quite true. My mind can be a monkey mind. Well, that's the thing about meditation, that you should have a monkey mind for it. You should have a huge fun imagination for meditation. It isn't about sitting there and stopping everything in your head. It is about imagination and taking yourself physically, not physically, but visualizing somewhere where you can then springboard from. So the art of meditation isn't to switch off completely. The art of meditation is to take yourself somewhere. So in your mind, you take yourself to a place that you have created in your own imagination, where then you can springboard from. So it actually, a monkey mind, suits really well, because you are probably the people that have the best imaginations. You have the best capacity to visualize something and imagine yourself somewhere. I bet all the monkey mind people are people that actually read as well, and read books. I mean, not just reading cards, but I bet a lot of the monkey minds read books and can really take themselves into the books. Like me and my Marvel films, when I watch a film, I mean, Jens sits and watches a movie and he notices what the camera angles are and everything. When I watch a movie, I'm so in that action of the movie. It's all happening to me that I am completely in there. I heard someone once call it as minding the gap. She meant being aware of the gaps between thoughts and ideas and internal chatter. The constant soundtracks run through mine too. And it is a case of finding the moments in between. And the gap is, I say, the time between the time. So looking for the time between the time, the moments between those amazing thought processes. There are different types of meditation, some passive, some active, absolutely. And I do have some guided meditations as well. That is a passive way of taking yourself into meditation. I love Marvel so much. That's amazing. I thought it would be a barrier. Yeah, Marv. Tony Stark is the best. Disappearing into a book, that I stop being aware of what is happening around me. And that is what actually, when you can take yourself into a book, for example, you can take yourself into something in meditation that is absolutely of your creation. So we don't have to have no imagination. Oh God, my mum's on now as well. Hello, darling. Hello, mummy. I've got my mum on. I've got my husband on, and I've got my kids' mates on. Oh dear. The gaps eventually get bigger. Helen, yes, and that's what I call void and the superconscious. So that they become a lot bigger, and they become almost forced on you. So that's again why I use systems. So I'm very clear on the times when I will be accessing information, and I'm very clear on the times when I will just do a system read. But that's absolutely, yes, a family union, quite right. It's a mind that doesn't sit still. Yes, that's a monkey mind. We're always thinking about different things. We're all family. That's very true. So, yeah, how do honestly, you may as well just chat amongst each other. So when it comes to your own practices and reading cards, do you think anything is important, like grounding, cleansing, protecting, etc.? How does divination fit into those practices, for example? I'm just going to sit here and wave at you all. You've got to do some work too. So let me know in the comments how important you think. I've got a mosquito here now as well. Just joined in. He's a Gap Pro. Does that mean your head's always empty, love? Do you think techniques like grounding are important? Do you think protection is important? What would you consider to be important on your spiritual journey? Getting into the mindset through creating sacred space is important to me. And you know what? I think that's really nice. I'm actually the opposite. And everywhere in our house is somewhere that I can read, is somewhere that I can access spirit, is somewhere I can go see what my husband's doing. So I personally, I don't create a sacred space because I consider everywhere or everything I do to be sacred. And my cleansing routines are actually Ho'oponopono. So it is a very different aspect too. And that's with the 3 selves again. It's about clearing your subconscious and accepting responsibility for your place right here, right now. Annette says, I haven't done much protecting since my dead people. Oh, it bumped up then. A trio are always here. They kind of, I completely understand that. And I personally don't protect myself. And the reason for that is because I truly believe if you work on your own energies and be the strongest energetic self that you can be, that protection isn't needed. It's more a case of, would you want to be able to, if danger came to your door tomorrow, would you want to shield yourself, or would you want to be able to fight so you can get out? I wouldn't want to be backed into a corner, is the message really from my side. And that once you are energetically amazingly strong at a super conscious level, and your human existence then with your subconscious and your conscious mind are clear, then you are the strongest that you could possibly be. Reading through. Garth said, if this moment, this space isn't sacred, then no place is, my philosophy. I absolutely am the same. Wherever I am in my being is my sacred space. So even if I'm on enemy ground, so to speak, I would still be in my own personal energies, and it would be my sacred space. Asking for protection says you are not full of light. People who protect themselves isn't helpful. I think I actually agree with you to a certain extent. And I would just word it differently, not to upset anybody. I am forever the diplomat, and I would say absolutely, again, reinforcing that protection is more of a weak move than building yourself up. I ground and shield every morning. Grounding is another one that every book you read, every website you go to will tell you to ground and shield yourself. And actually, grounding can have the opposite effect of building you up. So it can keep you stuck, your spirit stuck. So we are grounded. I would only suggest grounding if you weren't grounded, and I would want substantiation for a non-ground, because we are grounded in our bodies. We would like not to be. And on our spiritual journey, we want to be able to fly, and we want to be able to astral. And raising the vibration somehow is the goal. Raising the vibration is what I'm talking about, and being at that super conscious level. Yes, also space, you would absolutely fight. So being at that super conscious level, absolutely, always being in the spirit realms, the quantum realms of our spiritual being. I ground and center, take 3 deep breaths. Ancestors take care of protection and guide as needed. And that's another belief system, that is absolutely that we have our army of spirit with us to watch our backs at all times. To get to me, they would have to break through my land spirits. And you have a lot of land spirits, Annette. You have a whole army of them around you. And that's absolutely true. I follow the Granny Weatherwatch. What's the... Oh, Terry Pratchett. Absolutely. Yes, Annette, your house is sacred. By grounding, you mean quieting your mind? Absolutely. That is the quieting of the mind is a whole lot of useful when you are trying to access your superconscious. It makes life easier if you are a bit like me. So let me have a look at my questions. So I send roots down and golden light into the earth. I pull up the pillar of light into the heavens. I turn into a light being all the way to my roots and pull energy up. That's a very good visualization. Visualizations absolutely help with life. I think with grounding, it's also for being present in this moment. That's very true. I'm awful at being present in the moment. I am absolutely terrible at that. I learned meditation to bring me back to earth as I was getting too scattered and accident prone. I'm not saying anything. I'm not like that at all. I'm not always grounded because of distractions in the house, so it just needs a slight shift in consciousness. Absolutely. My army includes my tiny warrior paternal grandma. That's beautiful. So yes, you obviously all have your... I think when we're talking about things, we read a lot of things, and the way I use words will be different to how you use words. But at the end of the day, what we're all trying to do is get on that spiritual level. And whether you call it a vibration, whether you call it your higher self, whether you call it the matrix, anything that you want, we all want to access that. And the major part of any psychic development is removing anything that can hinder you, or working on yourself. Again, your energy is so much that there are no hindrances because you blast through everything. So the language used is different, but we're all trying to get to the same place, and that's to that clear message coming through, or the best spiritual us that we can possibly be. So I am going to disappear soon. If you have any questions, please put them in now. I'm going to read through the comments now. I have almost no visual imagination or memory. I have the worst memory. If you ask anybody, I do not have memory. Someone said that's right. There are so many different ways. Like I say, the monkey mind is great to visualize with. If you are not a visualizer, then guided meditation, for example, is a good way to get yourself in, where you just listen and turn everything else off. Samsung Fan Edition stream. I don't know, Pranith, actually. I honestly don't know if we're going to do another stream on the Samsung side of life. We actually got Apple Watches today. We're going to do a live stream later on an Apple Watch. I can't wait to open mine. So we have to do it in a live stream. So if nobody has any questions, I'm going to disappear. I just wanted to get to know where you are and what your thoughts were on the psychic development life, how you saw why, how you see yourself now, how you see your self development, what you feel is important. How do you please tell me how to stop the monkey mind? I have 3 different mantras, and I use them for different purposes. And a mantra is something that you use whenever you need it. So for example, when my brain goes on to something that I don't want it to go on, I will automatically start saying the Ho'oponopono prayer. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And it's not to forgive anybody. So take that out of your head straight away. The Ho'oponopono prayer is to accept responsibility for who you are and where you are, and get into that superconscious state. So get into the superconscious self. And so that's my first go-to to stop a monkey mind, is the Ho'oponopono prayer. I also have different mantras that I use for different situations. Thank you so much for joining me everywhere. Steffi's still waiting for my guided meditation. You actually get it in the psychic development course. I think there's 2 or 3 on there. I didn't get around to doing another one on my channel, but you will get it in there. Have a lovely rest of day. Thank you so much for sharing your life with me, sharing with your spiritual side with me. And I look forward to getting to know you all better. I'm going to press my special button now.